You're listening to the Peter Tilden Morning Show every morning from 5 to 9 a.m. on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
821 Talk Radio 790 KABC, the Peter Tilden Morning Show. Together for the first time, Nooch and Risk, a graffiti artist, and the city attorney. Hello, fellows.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
City attorney, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Tilden.
You're a handsome and powerful man. And you are too,
yeah.
Risk.
When you steal lines from pretty women, that's pretty bad.
That's my line. Now listen to me. I wanted to have you in because I know you're doing an injunction against taggers. And the man you're looking at there was a tagger and has become a successful graffiti artist, does gallery shows, has a clothing company, etc. I wanted to ask you, the injunction is different than a gang injunction because a gang injunction specifies gang activity for a particular group of people who've had criminal activity, correct?
Right.
And that's how you got the injunction. How do you do it for taggers or for artists?
Like we would for any other gang, in that we show that they are members of a tagging crew.
But do they need to have been arrested?
No. That we, oftentimes they may not be. Here we have evidence of who they are. We have to prove to a judge that
these are
what
the guys.
A tagging crew is first off. They can either be a pure tagging crew, tagging bangers, actually morph into a gang.
Is there any legal recourse? Can they come back at you and say, "Wait a minute, I'm not a tagger. Why are you lumping me in with it?"
Well, we have a injunction removal process in our office where if they can prove that they are not a tagger, that they can prove that they are no longer a member of MTA, much like Kelly has done here, turned his life around and become very prosperous, we will. Without having to go to court, remove them.
Now, the thing is, like in the L.A. River, you got that giant tag that says, is it the gang name? Is that what it is? MTA, which is huge. They did it with a helicopter. They scouted it with a helicopter. I don't know how they had the money to scout it. And you're worried, A, the cleanup's a fortune, and then it seeps into the water supply.
That's just one tag.
How many tags are out there, do you think?
Somewhere... in the back of my head, I heard the number of 680,000 different tags in the city of Los
All right, Risk, what do you think? Get right into that mic there.
How much?
653,000 last year.
How many? Wait, Risk, can I hear? I didn't hear his mic. Risk, are you on there?
I think the number is 653,000 reported incidents.
Now, you don't defend this, do you? At this point, it's illegal.
No, I don't defend it. I'm not here to ask amnesty or lenity on anyone that breaks the law. I just want to clarify the difference between graffiti art versus tagging versus tag banging.
But even if somebody's a great artist like you are, it's still illegal to do it on somebody's wall, somebody else's wall, correct? All right. So when you find these kids, these young guys, and you see they do good work, and you take them under your wing, where do you take them to tag? Where do you take them to practice it if they're not doing it on a car or a wall?
Well, I've had school programs, art programs, come meet me in the gallery, and I speak with them and show them around and talk about various paint techniques, stuff like that. We have a Black Book session coming up. It's called Black Book Session in San Bernardino next month, July 8th, I think, and it's for kids.
We teach them how to do it.
Well, we just teach them about art, and we show them how to get ready to apply for scholarships.
So you're not against the injunction at all, correct?
It's just not my concern. I'm not a tagger.
Okay, now, but the interesting thing, City Attorney, sir?
Yes.
If I may. I know you're studying. You're looking. When you were in last time, Risk, the thing that fascinated me was you said, hey, my building was tagged this morning. No big deal. I buffed it off. The big controversy is I can show the city how to save money on buffing this stuff off. They're getting ripped off by big companies paying what they have to pay. So I figured, how do you buff it off cheaper?
Well, I looked at some of the numbers from this is 2008, 2009, and the total allocation for graffiti removal was $7,406,000, and I'm looking at some of these contracts, and it's astronomical. The MTA thing alone was astronomical amount to buff. And
so how do you do it, Chief?
I'm not into buffing. I'm into stopping.
I understand that, but I was just curious. I thought it was fascinating too, as far as the buffing part. How much can you get a buff off? Buff a thing off for?
Well, I mean, it's everyone knows a gallon of buff paint you can get for $10 and you can go buff it. I'm not saying that there's a lot of other costs that are incurred with that, but I'm just curious to the amount of money that they spend
on buffing.
Buff,
Is that what it's called? Even though you're painting, is it painting over called buffing? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I wonder who's policing that.
Why don't we have graffiti artists who buff? Pay them to buff the things over and give them something to feel good about. I guess it's not creative when you're just doing white or beige on the thing. I know you're here to stop it. I just thought it was fascinating that we could probably save money on the back end too once it's out there.
There's a guy out in the parking lot with a spray can redoing your car.
I don't want it done. I'm not negating what you're doing. I'm just saying on the back end, after you have how many out there now? 600-something thousand. If we could save money,
I thought I saw you make a move towards the parking lot.
I can't paint with a brush, let alone a spray can. You know what? I try. I just try. No matter what I do, you can't give me credit. Well, it is fascinating, and we should look at the numbers. Leave them with me. I'll get them to City Hall and get to the buffing department and try and see how we can save money.
But you know what? What Kelly is doing here today is really good, because it tells these kids and these people who are part of these tagging crews that there's another way. I mean, this is truly vandalism, and it creates a negative blight on L.A., and that there is a positive expression for your art. When you put it on somebody else's property, you are breaking the law. When you etch your name or scratch your initials or whatever you're doing on someone else's property, you are breaking the law. And no one wants that. If you want to buy a canvas and put this up on a canvas and display it, or go to a class and learn how to perfect what you're doing, because there's a market for it.
No kidding. Tell them how much your stuff goes for.
I do okay. But that's my point. My point is that I want people to know that,
the message is to move these people into constructive areas, not destructive areas.
I agree.
And this tagging injunction is for those people who are hell-bent on causing destruction. In the city of L.A., nobody likes graffiti when it's illegally placed. Nobody.
Well said. Listen, I got to take a break. Risk, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
His stuff goes for up to like $15,000-$20,000 a piece, by the way. And it is important. It is important to hear that there are options.